Welcome back to Drury University here at the O'Reilly Family Event Center. My name is Paul Gilmore, joined on the call with Scott Staten of this boys 14 and under 8A gold ball game between the MHEA Eagles out of Memphis, Tennessee, and the KC Metro Mavs out of Kansas City. Glad you're joining us. If you're watching from Kansas City or Memphis or anywhere else, I want to thank you for joining us on this call, as an early foul is going to be whistled against Xander Cage. That's his first. Memphis in their dark blue uniforms with the white numbering and trim. Meanwhile, KC Metro in their white uniforms with the black and red numbering and trim. We are officially on Gold Ball Wednesday, or Golden Wednesday as we like to call it, as these teams continue battling to win the gold ball for their class and then continue their run in the Gold Ball Showdown Series and an undisputed championship.
Well, and I'm checking right now, but just on our end of it, I'm pretty sure that they've got the wrong roster in there for the 14U because none of our numbers are matching and names, and I know some of these kids, so we may want to give that one a look because right now we don't have a match, but we know which teams are which, so we can go with that.
Yeah, we will go ahead and take a look at that just to make sure that we've got the right call for your families that are back home. Underneath, nice find, and that is Noah Dick, the first basket of the game, and it's 2-0 KC Metro.
These two teams should match up pretty well. They both have some size. They both have some skill, some experience. As we talked about, both of these programs kind of have their own factories where they, whatever age group they're in, they're going to rise to the top. They got a lot of play time against older brothers that have, made it pretty far into these tournaments, and so we will continue to check that out.
We also will check with the score table as well. We're looking at rosters for both these teams. It doesn't seem like they're quite matching up, but we'll do our best to find the right player and number. It's still a 2-0 KC lead. Tough shot there. And coming back the other way quickly is the Eagles.
Abram with the rebound there. The younger brother of Grace Abram, who is, you're going to hear her name as MHEA with the girls at 18U. They can't get it to Abram, though, on offense. That time they tried to feed it inside, but he was guarded closely. Good job by the Mavericks so far, keeping that ball from making it to him. And then there's a three-pointer. Beautiful shot by Peter Frisbee. 5-0 Metro Mavericks.
And we've noticed these rims here at Drury have been kind of soft over this week.
Yeah.
That time that ball hit every part of the rim and dropped in, and it's 5-0 Kansas City.
Eagles on the attack, trying to get in the scoring column. That ball is flipped up, but no good.
Nothing going so far for the Eagles. Meanwhile, KC working against this man pressure in the corner. Another three-pointer. That ball is blocked and tipped, but stays with the Mavericks. Short on that three-point attempt, and then on the long rebound, they keep the possession. Three-pointer on the way, and that is good. Big shot from Justice Sprague, and it's 8-0. The Eagles want to talk about it, and that's going to be the first time out of the game. 8-0 Kansas City. They're fired up, and the Eagles are going to be looking for some answers.
Boy, so far it's been all Kansas City, which is surprising because this MHEA team came in really strong, but it's been the Mavericks being able to connect from outside. A couple of shots there, three-pointers, and up to this point, it's been just all Kansas City. But that's not going to stay that way. MHEA brings in a tough team. They've got a lot of experience. They've been able to, as we talked about, win some big games, but so far not the start you want if you are the MHEA Eagles.
No, it's certainly not, especially with a program as storied as MHEA. They're typically the ones that are used to coming off to a hot start. And we saw this actually, I was on the call with the boys 16U over at Ozark a couple of games ago. And in that boys 16U, they were playing the Thesa Riders, and Thesa ended up going up by 9 in the third quarter.
Wow.
MHEA finished on a furious run and ended up winning handily. But you're kind of used to MHEA never being out of a game.
No. Boy, Ozark's been the gym of comebacks, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
All week long.
I couldn't believe the run that MHEA went on in that game. I mean, Thesa went almost a quarter and a half with just a free throw.
Wow. Well, we've seen the game we just had before this. One team went scoreless one entire quarter. That time there was a foul on Cohen Cato. That's his first.
Nice drive by Abram, and he puts it up and in. First points of the game for the Eagles.
You know that was going to come at some point. Oh, big block by Abram inside, and maybe that'll get him going. They've been unable to get the ball to him on the offensive end. But boy, that time he had no trouble getting to the ball.
And apologies, that was not Abram that hit the layup on the other side. Again, we're still trying to get the rosters worked out for MHEA. That was number 0 for MHEA that got that first basket. Meanwhile, corner 3, and that is good. Another one for Justice Sprague over the taller Abram. And just like that, it's 11-2.
3 3-pointers already for the Kansas City Metro Mavericks. Oh, another great drive there. They just cannot get through. You got to believe they're going to get to Abram at one point, but so far he's not been able to touch the ball on the offensive end. He challenged there.
Good running floater by Cato. Great job as he hesitated at the three-point line, drew 2 defenders up in the air, and drove right in for a running floater.
Coach Ryan Frisbee has to love his start. Meanwhile, on the other side with MHEA, Coach Sean Abram. Got to figure out here the code to this defense and how to get some of your scorers where they can get some good looks, because right now everything's contested.
Been some tough attempts for MHEA. We'll see if they're able to open it up. And we got a double dribble called against Frisbee.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been trying to do a jump step or a Euro step, but just didn't execute it right, so he gets called for the turnover. 13-2. Great start for the Mavericks. MHEA going to have to get something going offensively here because this Mavericks team is scoring.
They are. They have put up points in a hurry here in the first quarter as we approach the 1-minute mark. Again, at the boys 14U level, it's 6-minute quarters, so if this game feels like it's going by quickly, it's because it is.
There's a three.
And Jeremy Caldwell's doing a great job of helping us out with the rosters. As soon as he has those back, we'll get the correct names for MHEA, but that's the second basket for number 0. Meanwhile, on the other end, that's too easy for Isaiah Drake.
Wow, he just walked right in there with a welcome mat. And as you said, you can't let that happen.
And that's another tough basket for MHEA.
He's got all their points, keeping them in the game. Just 20 seconds left here. Going to try to withstand this flurry.
Sprague, another three. That would have been bringing the house down.
Oh, up ahead.
Tough possession.
Boy, they had a chance on the run out there, but the ball was overthrown, and the MHEA Eagle unable to track it down.
It was an unfortunate situation where right as where the ball landed, he had taken an awkward step and just couldn't quite corral it the way he wanted to.
Oh, we've all been there if you play basketball where a pass comes to you and your foot's going the wrong direction and can't make it happen.
Sprague, another three, no good. Final seconds of the quarter, and that's going to do it. In the first period of play, we have the Kansas City Mavericks 15, MHEA 7. Second quarter action and much more to come after this intermission. Well, the atmosphere here in Drury is electric, as big fan bases for both KC Metro and MHEA. As a matter of fact, two of the bigger fan bases in our tournament, and they have shown up for this boys 14U game, gold ball game. And it looks like it might be a blackout day for MHEA, I'm guessing. They've got the varsity boys over there dressed in all black with the sunglasses.
Yep. I think you're right. And you can always count on those varsity teams showing up if they don't have a game, whether it's 8 in the morning. You never know if they're going to have onesies on or blackouts or whatever, but they're here to support this MHEA 14U team.
So in that first period of play, KC Metro opened an 8-point advantage. A lot of that had to do with the three-point shooting from Sprague. MHEA coming the other way, and that is good for number 10. And we're going to have a traveling violation going the other way. And it looks like for MHEA, we've only got first names.
MHEA will bring it down.
So if you're wondering on this call if we're talking about MHEA and they're going to call that on the floor, we've got an update on the roster, but it only has first names. So if you're with MHEA and you know the last names of some of these boys, on our broadcast stream, you can see in the top right, we've got our Twitter handle on there. You can tweet us at NCHBCL and let us know the complete roster for MHEA, but we'll get it straightened out.
We'll figure it out here. Main thing is that you get to see basketball, right?
On the inbounds, that shot is put up and in by Jackson.
Kansas City Metro on the attack still, but their lead, which was huge at the beginning, they just ran out to an 8-0, but all of a sudden, it's down to just 4. Another block inside. Here come the Eagles on the attack. Carson with the ball. He's going to spot up for a 3. In and out.
Oh,
there's Abram with the rebound. David Abram with his first points of the game. And it's down to 2 now.
And we mentioned it earlier, you knew MHEA was going to be coming, and here they are full speed ahead. They have the ball, and they're looking to tie or take the lead in what was just an 11-point game just a few moments ago.
Yeah, this is what we expected, is a closer game. They really withstood that Metro Academy barrage of threes in the first quarter and just slowly have worked their way back in. Another shot there by Carson.
Yeah, he's been the presence offensively for MHEA thus far. He's got 9 points to lead them, and it's a tie ball game.
Well, you knew MHEA wasn't just going to lay down after being down like that. It was just going to take some time. Coach Sean Abram able to get his troops together, and then we got a whistle going to be on the Eagles there.
And that's going to be the second foul on Abram.
Boy, you hate to see that for the Eagles. He's their big man down low. He's a presence, and they've gone right at him. 2 different fouls now.
First free throw is no good for Grant Strain.
Love the atmosphere. Both of these programs bring it.
Second one is good. And we've got a timeout, 30-second timeout. MHEA is fired up. And we've got 3:40 to go in the second quarter. MHEA's come all the way back, and they now trail just 1. And Scott, we've seen that happen a lot so far this tournament, especially at Ozark. But at both gyms, we've seen a lot of teams being able to come back from large deficits.
Well, you could see that there was no panic on the faces. There's more shock, I think, on the faces of the Eagles as they looked up and just, all of a sudden they're down 8, 9 points. But then as they kind of settled back into their offense, initially the first couple minutes they couldn't get the ball inside at all. But then we started to see Carson connect on some shots, and really he alone kept them in the game in that first quarter. But since then, it started to look more like an Eagles offense that you expect. The big concern is their big man, David Abram. That's somebody you're going to have to keep an eye on with 2 fouls already, because he is who they go to for their defensive stops, and he's a big power presence down low with the rebounds and the putbacks, and so we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Now MHEA is bringing the ball down. Carson gets it inside. They're looking for Abram. That ball's tipped and stolen.
They forced that one just a little bit.
Adam Kent able to come away with the steal.
Mavericks still on the attack. Even though they've given up a lead, they have just not stopped.
Wow, what a spin move from Peter Frisbee.
Yeah, Frisbee's been solid for the Mavericks. That lead up to 3 again.
Good movement from MHEA, and that runner is put up and in by Isaiah.
Nice shot. I don't know how he got that one in. Just a good touch off the glass. Calling out the defense from the bench there. And yep, they got a turnover. Starting to do a little bit of trapping, and he's trying to keep his the backside defense where they don't get out of position, but that time they got away with it because they get the turnover.
So now the Eagles will have a chance to take the lead.
They pull Abram out to sit. Maybe with those 2 fouls, hoping he can get into halftime without any others.
On the far side, that 3-point attempt is going to be up and too strong, but rebound ultimately would be controlled by the Eagles. That 3-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound is ripped down.
Well, they're not
by
bashful.
Frisbee.
Not bashful to shoot from the college 3 either.
Neither
team.
is Casey Metro, as that 3-pointer is no good from Drake, and possession will stay with Casey Metro.
Boy, that time Jackson for MHEA tried to get the rebound, but it just went off his hand. So Metro will have one more chance at this end of the floor. Frisbee's been really tough for Kansas City this first half.
And you can see for MHEA, they've got Braxton playing so far down in the paint every time. It looks like Casey Metro is going to have opportunities at the 3-point line if they can get somebody, whoever's matched up with him, if they can get them the ball quickly. He's going to have to come all the way out from the paint.
A couple different times now, Frisbee has driven, and when he gets the pressure in the paint, he's shuffled his feet. He's taken one extra step, and so he's going to have to figure that out. Sometimes it's easy to do when you look up and all of a sudden you got 2 guys around you trying to defend you and take the ball away, and that time it resulted in another turnover. But Kansas City Metro, this is the start they wanted. But you got to love the mettle of MHEA right now. They've just kind of steadied things, and even when the lead gets back up to 2 or 3, they come right back down and answer. And with their big man on the bench right now, if they can weather this storm and make it into halftime within just a point or 2, or even maybe grab a lead, they got to be feeling good with the way they had to withstand that barrage in the first quarter.
Well, and speaking of withstanding barrages, if you're KC Metro and you see MHEA battle all the way back, what are you telling your guys in this timeout? If you are the coach for KC Metro, you had a 11-point lead, and before you know it, beginning of second quarter, it's already tied.
Well, I mean, what I say is, guys, right now, when we run our offense, they're having a hard time stopping us, so we just got to keep doing what we do. In terms of MHEA, you know they're going to score. You're not going to keep them scoreless. So just try not to lose your man, stay in position and just play solid defense and let the chips fall where they may.
That time they worked the ball inside to Abram, and he was fouled. Looks like they're giving that foul to Adam Kent.
Yeah, I think Metro got a real boost of confidence with the way they started. You could kind of see a confidence there that it seems to have carried over where they're even though they gave up that lead, they're not real bothered right now.
This time Abram spins inside, leaves it just short. He pulls down the rebound, and that's going to be a jump ball.
Great effort to get his own miss. He's a little frustrated that he didn't get that one, but, man, that was a nice move by the big man. Just short-armed it just a little bit, but he still got his hand back on the second chance. But, well, and actually it looks like They had the possession arrow wrong, so it will stay at this end.
We are approaching the end of the first half. 1:25 to go. That three-pointer quickly taken by Carson, no good. Good box out and rebound by Frisbee.
Frisbee having a game. Here he is for three again.
That's the college three. Peter Frisbee, his second triple, and that extends the lead back to 4.
8 points for Frisbee. He's played inside, he's played outside, and boy, he's done a great job this game so far, giving his team a 4-point lead.
You know, Scott, I'm not one to miss opportunities to make puns with names.
No,
and
you're kidding.
You said something about inside, outside, and for some reason my mind went to boomerang, you know, like
yeah,
in and out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same with Frisbee, so I tried. It just
It's close. It was a good effort.
You know, I do my best.
Well, I mean, you know, we have a disc golf course at our church, and those guys do things with Frisbees that are almost like boomerangs, so it works. It works for me.
Just make sure you don't call it Frisbee golf.
No, ever.
They will tell you
Yep.
It is disc golf. Meanwhile, back to basketball. KC Metro coming the other way. They look like they have an opportunity to take the final shot as they are up 4 points.
Almost lost it.
And Frisbee on the inside, short. So I was incorrect about the final shot. They're just running their offense.
Yeah. Which is what I think you just keep doing it. You're scoring. Why not?
And that is off the feet. Neither player was sure who was going to pick it up. And now MHEA comes back the other way. A little disjointed play. Nice save. Ultimately into the hands of Metro.
Pinball, man. Pinball.
And that was Drake that ended up with the ball. Now Frisbee comes the other way. He Euro steps through the defense and lays it in.
He finally got it to go.
Now coming the other way to end the half. Good look, but no good from Carson. And that's going to be our first 12 minutes of play as we saw a furious back and forth by both teams. And after one half, it's going to be KC Metro 23, MHEA Eagles 17. Second half action back after this.
When my body needs relief, I real-time it. I'd like to introduce you to my knockout pain formula. Real-time pain relief. Its soothing lotion is rich in nature's ingredients and helps me manage discomfort day or night. And it smells great too. From muscle strains to soreness to simple back aches and arthritis. Real-time it and knock out your pain. It works for me and it will work for you. Real-time pain relief. It's a knockout.
Welcome back to Drury University as we are here in Springfield, Missouri on Golden Wednesday. This is the 8A gold ball game between the MHEA Eagles and the KC Metro Mavericks. My name is Paul Gilmore, joined once again by Scott Staten, bringing you all the action today at Drury University. And these teams are in this Elite 8 game with the chance to play in the Final Four tomorrow. That three-pointer no good right off the bat from Frisbee. He had a big first half with 10.
Starts off the second half the way he did the first, firing a shot, and wasn't able to connect on that one, but boy, he's been a force inside and out. Expect to see more of that. David Abram inside, powers one in.
And he had a big presence in that first half as well, not on the score sheet, but just with his size and rebounding and defense, he made a big impact.
Yeah, just a matter of time. David's going to score.
And now Drake gets the ball across. I don't remember him having that red headband in the first half.
Maybe it's the lucky headband. I don't know.
Maybe
There's
so.
a rebound by Abram.
On the run out, they get the ball up ahead to Aiden.
Great outlet pass. Good eyes for the big man to be able to look ahead and see his man on the release. They didn't turn it into anything yet, but you like to see that from your bigs.
And that's a kickball. Good defense from Frisbee.
We've had Frisbee, kickball, and basketball today. We might get them all.
We just might.
I mean, we filled our bingo card after yesterday. We had dunks, buzzer beaters, I mean, you name it. And so today, hopefully, we'll do it again.
I certainly hope so. We love that as the tournament continues. And that's going to be a foul called on KC Metro. And they called that one on Drake, just his first. But you mentioned it, Scott, as the tournament goes on, you tend to get into those high pressure intensity situations. And, of course, the cream rises to the top.
Yep.
And it's really cool to see just the high-level basketball play. And last night's buzzer beater here at Drury was at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday.
And you weren't even the last game.
No.
There was one that went over at Ozark past midnight. And, boy, really the last 4 games of yesterday were just great games on all the live streams.
Yeah, you got to feel for a team like Northside and Fort Wayne that had to start their game at about 11:15. And that ended up being a barn burner, too, as Northside was down big in the third quarter and came back to win by 1.
Down by 16 and came all the way back. Those two teams very familiar with each other out of the Midwest. But, man, they played a classic last night. And great job on the call. I was driving home because my games were over and are back to the hotel. And right when I got in the car, I heard your call on the shot, and I immediately pulled over to see what did I miss and kind of rewound it. And I was like, holy smokes, how did they hit that shot?
I'm glad you emphasized pulling over. You know,
absolutely.
We certainly recommend practicing safe driving.
Absolutely.
A lot of people tell me they're watching in the car on the way to the gym.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not the driver, that's good.
That's right. Well, I put it on Apple Play and just lay it on the seat so I don't look at it at all, but that way I can listen to it, and it's awesome. It really lets you stay up to date without having to be at the gym for everything, and some great games yesterday.
So, Scott, I wanted to ask you, we've noticed on a lot of these games, no matter what age level, a lot of these players, they see that college three-point line, and I guess they just decide that's where they're going to be shooting from.
Yeah. You know what? And from my memory's not great, but I seem to remember that in years past, sometimes there's been 3 lines, and it's really confusing. And I think you almost default and say, well, in a quick, moment, I don't know which line, so I'm just going to get behind the farthest one and shoot it. Wow, good pickoff there by Frisbee.
That interior pass was picked off. MHEA done a good job of getting the ball passed around without the ball hitting the floor, but ultimately that last one was off, and then Drake off on the three-pointer. That ball, everybody was hopping around it.
Yeah, it was hot potato.
You throwing in another activity?
Yeah, we're going to do them all.
We'll see if we can get a cornhole reference.
I was trying to think of how to make that say cornhole, but there's too awkward. I wasn't going to go there. Yeah, and we just talked about the three-point line. Man, that was another one behind the college line. And if you're the coach, it is a little harder to see the white one. So there's another. I mean, even when we're talking about it, you might even remind your shooters. You can take a step inside that red line because that's not our line. That's college. And while you might want to impress the scouts, we'd rather get the bucket and be sure of it.
Frisbee on the drive, kick back out top. That three is no good from Sprague.
Got a whistle. I'm not sure what that was about. Timeout with Kansas City.
I think the referee's talking to the bucket crew. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. We did have a conversation about the way that teams are allowed to have noisemakers. There was a little bit of a discourse about, can you use them during play? Does it have to be during timeouts only?
Right.
And we did clarify that here at the national tournament, you are allowed to use noisemakers during play. I know a lot of schools around the country, they don't allow noisemakers at all, much less during play. So
right.
Just trying to clarify.
It gives a great atmosphere. For us, as long as they're not directly behind our headsets, because these things will pick up everything behind you. So, yeah, you got to be careful even what you say. But, yeah, no, we love the atmosphere. And these are two fan bases that are both rowdy, that make a lot of noise for their teams, and we love it.
We certainly do, and it certainly plays well whenever you have a gym that has this kind of atmosphere. You know, and that's part of the nature of it. You've got teams that are all different age groups playing across the city. It's really hard to pack a gym unless there's not a lot of other games going on.
Right.
So huge shout out to these teams for bringing huge crowds to a boys 14 and under game.
For sure. And when you can make it work with your other team's schedules, it's great. Meanwhile here, Paul, we've only had 2 points scored, and we got 3 minutes left in this quarter.
Yeah, it has been a defensive affair in the third quarter after that flurry of threes by both teams in the first half.
Yeah, KC Metro looked like they weren't going to miss in the first quarter. Oh, there's a nice rip-away steal. Oh, they called him on the travel, though. As Finley pulled the ball away, he ended up with the ball, but his feet slid, and so the official calls him. I guess statistically you get a steal and a turnover.
Does that net out to 0?
I don't know. Our coach always said turnovers were worth twice as much negative, so I don't know.
You got to love the effort, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now both teams really trying to figure out ways to make it through the defense, and even on drives like that, losing the handle. And
yeah,
both teams just really kind of disjointed right now.
Yeah, Isaiah Drake, I mean, he drove strong, but then when he got closer to the basket, he kind of lost control there. And we've only had, I mean, the halftime score was 23-17, and you see it now, it's just 23-19. So a whole bunch of points in the first half, and it just stopped. Wow, what a move there. And, oh, he dropped it in. Beautiful shot by Carson.
And that gets it back to a 1-point lead. KC Metro, after that traveling violation, they have not scored in this quarter.
They have
MHEA
not.
only has 5.
Yeah, and that's where that confidence you had in the first quarter when you ran out to a 15-7 lead, now you look up and you're like, we have not even scored since the first half, and now you start to lose some of that confidence. So if you're the Mavericks, you need to get a stop here, and if you're coaching, you got to come up with some way, Coach Frisbee, to get some points.
There's one way to do it, but then loses it on the attempt to save it. Carson with a quick three, no good. Good rebound from Grant Strain.
An 8A gold ball for 14U on the line here.
In the corner, Drake, opposite corner. That three by Frisbee loaded up in and out.
That was halfway down. You almost want to give him a 1.5 points on that.
And we're going to have a timeout from MHEA as they've outscored KC Metro 5-0 in this quarter and yet still trail by 1. So if you're KC, you got to feel pretty good about the fact that you have yet to even find a point, much less a field goal.
Yeah, and you still lead.
lead.
Yeah, that is that, and that's where sometimes you start out really hot. You can carry that momentum. It gets you past those droughts where you're not scoring. But what's more problematic is they really haven't even had very many good looks this half. And you got to figure out a way, and I'm sure Coach Frisbee's doing that, whether it's a set play, you got to get the ball in the hands of your scorers and got to get them some open looks. And so expect some kind of a set play here when they get the ball back where they're going to be able to get maybe Frisbee open. We've seen Sprague connect on some threes. I mean, they've had 5 different players score, so you got a lot of options. But up to this point in this half, they have not really done anything offensively. I mean, they've been okay on defense, but they can't keep playing with no points. You got to score. I mean, the game is probably not going to be scoreless from here to the end. So that means you got to score. That 1 point lead is nice, though.
Yeah, the odds are low that both teams will remain scoreless the rest of the game.
Well, that was a dangerous pass. You like to see bounce passes there. Sometimes they throw them over your head, and an alert defense can get a hand on the ball, tip it just enough where it knocks it off of your own player's hand, and that's another turnover.
Frisbee, good look inside to Strain.
Yeah.
And he flips it in.
That was all set up by Frisbee. Great vision. You got to think MHEA thought he was going to go up for the shot, but cutting across on the other side of the lane was Grant Strain, and he converted. Lead back up to 3.
That KC Metro defense really keying in on number 0, Carson, at this point, because he's been a lot of the offense for MHEA. That time he's able to draw a foul, and he'll be shooting 2.
Well, you know, he needs to be able to get to the free throw line. If he can't find the open shots, he's got the speed and the moves to be able to do that. We saw him a little bit earlier where he lost his defender, made a great dribble drive move as he sinks the first. And you can see these guys are, I mean, they want this. They're very intense, talking to each other, making sure they're in the right places, discussing what's going wrong, and they're going to figure it out.
Well, even though the offense has not been pretty in this third quarter, we now have, again, a 1 point lead for KC Metro. 45 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Carson with 13 of their 24 points. Oh, nice drive by Drake there. The headband worked.
It did. I think the aerodynamics allowed him to score that layup. Meanwhile, Carson the other way, no good that time. Abram fighting for a rebound, and we're going to have a jump ball. So good job by Abram getting in the mix.
Yeah, Carson's so fast. I mean, I don't know how he knifed through that entire – I mean, he went by 4 defenders there and couldn't put it in. But, man, when you got Abram down there, that's one reason he's so valuable. He fights for everything underneath.
He earned the possession back for his team. Inside, they get it to Abram. Carson thought about the 3.
Little two-man game there.
You like to see it.
Cut it to 1. 7 seconds.
That deep 3 is banked in by Sprague. His third triple of the game, and that's how we're going to finish the third quarter as he hit from almost the volleyball line. And that's going to be KC Metro 30, MHEA 26. Final 6 minutes to come after this intermission. We return to the campus of Drury University for the final 6 minutes in a highly contested boys 14 and under 8A gold ball game that sees KC Metro with a 4 point lead. They scored 7 points at the end of the third quarter, and all of those points were scored within probably the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, they hadn't scored most of that quarter, and Sprague just missed that shot. But, boy, what a closeout. That lead was down to 1, and then after having a quarter where they struggled so much, Sprague banked one in, and we can confirm that in Springfield the banks don't close for lunch. He connected on that, and that 4-point lead looks huge now with the way this game has gone.
Nice look inside for Abram, a little too strong, but that two-man game between Carson and David Abram has been something that has worked effectively for MHEA.
It was a good find, just couldn't finish it. He'll get it, though. That's what he's got to do, David Abram, is just make sure he doesn't get too frustrated. It's so frustrating when you get good looks like that and can't convert it, but he'll get more opportunities, and they'll keep going to that well for sure.
On the drive, all the way to the basket, and not before a traveling violation was called. So,
and you know what caused that. He looked up and saw Abram there and immediately second-guessed himself trying to take the ball in there.
And that was a good drive from Cato. He actually ended up making the shot, but not before he was whistled for the walk.
Yeah, it was a great move. Lost his man over top of the key and was able to get close to the bucket.
Abram double teamed.
Wow, what a shot. You know, if you're going to miss the easy ones, make the hard ones. And that's what he just did. He was frustrated about that last miss, but, man, what a move there.
On the drive, Sprague
oh, my
flips it up and
goodness.
in.
The bank again. My bank only lets you take withdrawals once or twice a day, and he just keeps going back and back.
That time he made a deposit.
Wow.
As I don't even know on the angle that he had. He was falling out of bounds.
Yeah.
Just flipped in underneath. Perfect angle off the glass.
You know what? I really like this. I think for years it seemed like players went away from using the backboard. It was almost like if you didn't get nothing but net, it didn't count. But we've seen a real change, even in college, where the glass, man, it's back to being used again. It's become an art. Tyrese Halliburton, where we're at in Indy, you just see a lot of it in college now where players just have learned to do that. Speaking of, he spun one off of the glass there. But it's such a great weapon. And, you know, players, when they just only try to hit shots straight on, they forget. I mean, there's a reason that big glass is up there, and it's a great opportunity to make some good shots.
And you almost wonder, too, if it's seen as a lesser shot, I guess, if you bank it in, right? These players often talk about, oh my goodness. You talk about this idea of, well, if you don't call glass, it doesn't count. And you grow up with that idea in your head.
Right.
But really, it is a high percentage, high leverage shot if you can use it effectively.
We got a 1-point game here. Good defense inside by Braxton.
Abram's got to be careful on the rebound not to bring that down low where the guards are.
Well, Carson is having a game. He's got 18 points for the Eagles. He has really filled it up today. Here's another.
And you're okay with that heat check.
Yeah.
If you're Coach Abram, you know, he's got the hot hand. He's been the primary offense and ball handler for your team.
Another travel. And we can't get in the minds of the players, but you just have to think that in the back of the Mavericks players' heads, when they're going to drive, they know what's waiting for them there. And we've already seen some blocks. We've seen them affect shots. And so what they've got to do is get that out of their head, quit making the turnovers, and just go in and try to make something happen.
So we'll see how KC Metro is going to adjust to what Carson has been able to do. That time the running floater no good, but offensive rebound.
Close.
Carson with the left hand can't get it going, and that's going to be last touched. They're going to say MHEA. They're certainly protesting that call.
Well, the fans are, but, you know, when you look at the reaction of the two players, I think it must have hit one of them because neither one of them argued it at all. They just turned and ran down the court.
And that's going to be a timeout now by KC Metro.
3:07, and, Paul, we got the game that we were expecting. When it started out, I thought, man, I don't know. Maybe it isn't going to be a close one, but since then it's really been just almost an even match, and the score indicates that. But continue to see the KC Metro Mavericks, when they've struggled scoring, there's been two players, it's been Justice Sprague, or it's been Peter Frisbee. So you got to expect that they're going to try to get them involved these last 3 minutes. And on the other end, Abram has been all around there affecting shots on the defense, but on the offensive end, even if he doesn't score, a lot of times we've seen Carson and him kind of do the two-man game where they'll pass it back and forth, and then whichever one gets the better shot can do that. And so I would expect you're pretty much going to see those two players on each side have a big impact on these last 3 minutes on who wins this gold ball for 14U 8A.
And you're correct. It almost seems like, obviously these teams have a lot of players, but the ones that have been impacting this game thus far, it seems like there's been two on each side. You mentioned for KC Metro, Sprague and Frisbee,
right.
And for MHEA, it's Carson and David Abram.
Right.
And again, hate to sound like you're repeating the same thing over and over, but at these kind of tournaments, and especially at the national tournament, every year you see these games come down to execution.
Yeah.
And KC Metro's got a 1-point lead, 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go. Which team is going to be able to execute better? Which team's going to be able to have possession of the ball better?
Right.
Which team is going to be able to box out better?
Right.
Which team is going to be staying true on defense? And 9 times out of 10, that's how it plays out.
Yeah, and to clarify, and I know this is what you meant as well when I said it, it's not that the other players don't matter. I mean, there's other players contributing, even scoring, but you just expect your scorers and your leaders to lead. Once again, another turnover. Frisbee, he's done that a couple times where he drives and kind of shuffles his feet, and again, you got to think he's trying to figure out how to get inside there without getting his shot blocked and get a good look.
And now MHEA, once again, they've had a lot of opportunities today to take the lead.
Aiden did a good job to keep control of that one. He just about lost it with the defense there.
Ball back in the hands of Carson, working the two-man game. Stop and pop jumper, no good. Abram nearly saved it, but instead it's saved by KC Metro.
Yeah, they had an open look on the left side. Oh, nice steal. Good job by Aiden there.
Wow.
Oh, holy. Carson went up and twisted his body to make that one go in.
Then we've got a foul coming the other way.
Wow, can you even catch your breath there? We barely even said who scored, and all of a sudden you look up and it's Kansas City trying to score.
Yeah, they've been coming down in a hurry. That foul was on Aiden, number 10, and we're going to have another timeout.
You know what I like about that? Aiden went up to the official to make sure that he was the one that was given the foul. I don't know if he's aware that maybe some of his other teammates have more fouls than him, but he tried to make sure that he's, hey, that was me. I did it. That was me. And good heads-up play there. But, wow, what a game we've got. Back and forth now, 33-32. MHEA finally grabs the lead. They have been trying to come back ever since that first quarter where they just came out of at the opening tip. It was all Kansas City Metro. But, wow, they have slowly worked their way back to grab this lead, and it's going to be a good one these last 2 minutes.
It certainly will, and if it's anything like some of the games we had yesterday and last night, I think we're in for a treat these last 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's already been a treat to be on this call, but you get the atmosphere, the environment of these two crowds, the high stakes of a gold ball championship, and you've got a perfect mix.
Yes, you do, and it's it's uncanny, and you'd expect in a game that's 1 point, but when you look at the scorebook, it's basically the same kind of thing. You got each team has one player in double digits and then a few others that have single digits, but it's spread out. They're all contributing, but you're going to look for your leaders, your scorers, to be the ones to get their hand on the ball here, even if they don't shoot, to get a good look for someone else.
In the hands of Drake. Spins to his left, floats it up with the left off the backboard.
Using the glass well there. Team back in the lead. What a spin move.
They were looking inside for Abram. He's got the smaller Kent on him. Carson for three, no. Rebound controlled by Frisbee, and he's going to be fouled by number 10, Aiden.
Boy, Aiden got his hand on the ball, but not before he reached out, and official said he got the arm of Sprague there. Wasn't a bad look for Carson. He's hit some of those today. He found an opening, but didn't connect on that one.
And KC was coming the other way in a hurry. They pull it back out. Minute and a half to go. In the corner, pump fake three-pointer, shot attempt, no good. Offensive rebound, Sprague.
Boy, Sprague, that was a clutch rebound there.
And it takes more time off the clock. MHEA is going to have to think about if they're going to choose to foul, and they do. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but they do need some team fouls so that they can stop the clock and send somebody to the free throw line here in just a few seconds.
Aiden sliding his feet, but I just tell you, it wasn't bad defense. It's just Sprague's great offense. He's so fast. Once he gets you on his hip, you're in trouble. Oh, but there's a steal by Aiden.
And that time Drake did not know that that pass was likely intended for Sprague. And then Carson comes the other way. Under a minute to play. This is when the clutch players rise up, and we're going to have a foul. They're going to call that on
Sprague.
Sprague.
Yeah, and that was great because when Aiden got that steal, he could have made a bad decision and tried to make the fast break happen. There was so much traffic. He did a great job backing it out.
Carson goes baseline, underneath.
Oh, what a strong move. Up and under, powered it in. Now MHEA in the lead. We had Kenon Braxton there. Braxton cut him off. 34 seconds to go.
And you want the ball in the hands of Frisbee. He's been your guy.
Are we going to have another buzzer beater?
Drake, a nice spin move. Tried the backboard again. That time Frisbee in the offensive rebound. And last touched by the Mavs.
He had a good look there. The ball came off. Frisbee, midair, tried to throw it back in, but it went out of bounds. And it's MHEA ball with 20 seconds and a 1-point lead.
Stolen on the inbounds, thrown right back to MHEA. And then Carson's going to be fouled.
Wow. They went from a steal and an opportunity to take the lead to a turnover, and now they had to foul. That was so fast. Both teams, crucial turnovers there in that last couple of seconds, but it ends up in the hands of MHEA with a 1-point lead.
And you mentioned it, Scott, that happened so fast that I don't even think KC really had a chance to call a timeout if they wanted to.
Right.
It looked like on that pass down underneath the basket, obviously looking for his teammate, MHEA cut it off, but man, in the span of about 2 seconds, they stole the inbounds and then threw a turnover. And then meanwhile, now KC is going to be talking about what to do for the final 13.9. A foul from either team now puts them at the free throw line, shooting 2.
Yeah.
Not just a 1-and-1. The 1-and-1s are done. So shooting 2, 13.9. How much time do you take trying to get a steal or a jump ball before you have to foul?
If it's me, I'm probably just going to say we're going to gamble. We're going to either double team or you're just going to shoot a gap, a passing gap, and if you don't get it, let's foul. Because the worst thing is you're going to be down 3, and we've already seen that Kansas City Metro has hit threes, but, you know, every coach is different. He may not have called a timeout there anyway because sometimes on a steal the defense isn't set and you get a better look, but they didn't even get that opportunity because they threw it right away.
And
Sprague
steals it. Puts it up and in. And Coach Abram called the timeout before things could get any further out of hand. And it is pandemonium behind us as KC Metro have taken the lead. Sprague had the ball kind of in between his legs and had the presence of mind to pick it up and put it in.
He's so fast. We've seen him do that, making some drives today, but that time he cut into that passing lane. Remember, we talked at the timeout, you're going to make a gamble. And that pass was just, I'm not going to say lazy enough, but soft enough that Sprague could get to it and get a hand on it. Even though Carson was there, it kind of a struggle for the ball. And I don't feel like, it didn't look like a foul to me. I think they both were just going for the ball. And next thing you know, like you said, Sprague has it almost like between his ankles and somehow picks it up and throws it in. And wow.
So both coaches were at below eye level with their players. If you look across both sides, they are drawing up the defense, drawing up the offense, and you have to imagine for MHEA when they come back in that the ball's going to end up in the hands of number 0.
You would think so, and also, I mean, if it's me, you want him to take a good shot, but you also want to give yourself enough time to get a rebound because you got the bigs down there, you got Abram, You might be able to, if there is a miss, get a putback at the buzzer. We're going to have to see it. I think it's going to be 8 seconds. I'm not sure it's going to be 0.8 because there was still time on the clock.
There was.
There we go.
Yeah, the refs did a good job of fixing that because as the timeout was called, I looked up and it said 6.9, I believe, or 6.7. So they put a little bit of extra time on the clock from when Coach Abram actually called that timeout. So 8 seconds to determine the 8A gold ball champion.
Well, MHEA has a couple of speedy players. You know, they've got Carson, they've got Aiden. So I expect them to get the ball down court quick, get a shot up, and if you don't hit it, look for the putback.
On the press break.
Got to get it in first.
They do get it in. Over to Carson.
Oh, nice play.
Underneath, the feed to Abram, lays it in.
What a play. What a play.
And you talk about a momentum. It seems like this gym is rocking back and forth. Right across from us, MHEA is going wild as Abram gave them the lead, 37-36.
Oh, that gives you chills. It was the eruption, and it was perfectly executed. One thing I love about what Sean Abram, the coach, did there, he drew it up and he threw it in to a player you probably didn't think he would. And when he turned around, that was a perfect pass there that was made by Braxton. He found Carson on the run, and when the defender came over to stop Carson, guess who's underneath? David Abram, and he gets that one to go.
So you got to love the fact that Carson made the right play. He didn't just decide, I'm putting this game in my hands. He made the right play, got it underneath to his big man.
Yep.
And boy, can those emotions change in a hurry.
You're not kidding. Where we're sitting, we have Kansas City fans behind us. We have MHE directly in front of us. Behind us was super loud just a few seconds ago, and across it was almost sullen. And then it just was like they threw all the cheering over to the other side. It got quiet behind us. What a play. What a play, and it's not over.
It is not. They put 3.2 seconds back on the clock as when that timeout was initially called and they stopped the whistle. It was about 1 point something because the clock had kept running. So officials go back to 3.2, but now KC Metro's got to go the full length of the court.
Hey, Sprague can do it. He is so fast.
So we'll see what we got. One more substitution for MHEA as Jackson's going to check in.
Abram didn't have time to come off the regular way, so he just ran off the far end of the court.
3.2 seconds. Here we go. Get the ball into Sprague. Up ahead, good look for Frisbee at the buzzer. Yes!
Oh my goodness!
Another one.
Oh my
Frisbee
goodness.
hits the game winner, and that is going to be another court storming as KC Metro. They win the game at the buzzer. Peter Frisbee with the free throw line jumper.
Can you have two coaches draw up two better plays? And I mean, we talked about the emotions going from high to low. These Kansas City Metro fans and MHEA fans have gone up and down from the mountaintops to the valleys in this last 10 seconds. And what a shot, what a play drawn up by Coach Frisbee. And interesting, both times, the coach and their son were the keys on both of those. And Frisbee got that little jumper to go and gets the gold ball for Kansas City Metro. Wow.
What a worthy game of an 8A gold ball. And if you were not awake for Golden Wednesday, you are now.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, can I just stay on your games? Because whatever you're doing, you keep getting these last-second shots, man, and they are amazing.
I am loving it. This is what we signed up for. This is what we're here for. And your final score is going to be KC Metro 38, MHEA 37, 8A gold ball champions. A lot more action like that, hopefully, coming up after this intermission.